Speaking of a guy that got rid of the ball quickly, Mac Jones did that with the New England Patriots, who looked, I thought, really good in his first action, especially considering the circumstances for playing in the Patriots offense. I think the thing that really showcased his skills was they immediately, which I don't know if I've ever seen this from a Patriots coaching staff before, thrust a rookie quarterback into 5 wide and just letting him call adjustments and calling the protections. So Mac Jones looked very comfortable, very confident, very just accurate. I think that's kind of things that we all knew he would be in the NFL, but it's nice to see that with lesser talent, because a lot of people were criticizing him. Oh, he's at Alabama. He has this receiver, that receiver, and this receiver, but he played with the second team offense versus the second team defense of the opposing team and was still good. He did have a couple throws where if they were complete, his stats would have looked a lot better. He had one in the end zone where a guy dropped it, and another one where literally the guy caught it, but Belichick said he didn't feel like challenging it because he wanted to put him in a 3rd and 6. So that's the stuff you get in the preseason. But he at least attempted the most passes, as we see there. A lot of them were shorter stuff, check downs, but he showed that he could go through his reads quickly, get rid of the ball, and play within the Patriots offense, which I think is the intriguing part of Mac Jones. A lot of beat reporters are saying, when he's out there, it looks like the Brady offense. And that's what a lot of people are saying. Cam's going to have to play really well to keep his job.
Yeah, I mean, it was like Brady 2.0, if you read the reviews.
Yeah.
Um, people were, it's like, oh my gosh, he's back. Like, I think we might be a little premature on that, right? Like, if
Right.
we talk overreaction Monday, but I did like everything that I saw from Mac Jones. I thought that's one of the toughest places to be thrust into,
Mm-hmm.
both from a schematic standpoint and from we lost the goat and now you got to try and be baby goat, right? Because they're used to, just the best of the best. And so anybody who comes in and does less than, that's a really cruel, not so forgiving environment to come
Right.
into. And he handled it well. And he really made a strong case for himself. Cam, on the other hand, did not make a strong case for himself. And as you know, I am I am pro Cam Newton. That is not a question. As a person, that's my guy. But I heard one report that was really interesting, and they said everybody loves Cam. That's not a question. But
Mm-hmm.
we need Cam to play compelling football too. And I mean, that's at the end of the day, it is a performance based business. And I think it's too early to think that this is all Mac Jones or, all of him all day. Right.
Right.
Um, but you also can't feel like your job's secure. And if he doesn't win this job this year, your future in the NFL does not look too good.
I will say about Cam, he only played, I think, one, maybe 2 drives. He played 2 drives. One was one series because they went 3 and out on the series, and Chase Young absolutely destroyed him. That
Yep.
wasn't big. That was like not his fault, but it was
I
just
mean,
Chase Young
from
being
a
Chase Young.
defensive perspective, I really liked that play. But I mean,
Yeah,
we're talking quarterbacks right
right.
now. So go ahead.
He threw a couple screens. I mean, I didn't see anything from Cam to say like, oh, like you can take his job based on this game. I'd like to see Cam play a little bit more in the preseason to see like where he's improved. But you definitely see like how drastically different in play styles these two players are. Like Jones is obviously more accurate and he's more decisive, but like Cam obviously does bring an athletic standpoint, like that running ability that is not going to be shown in preseason because you're not trying to get the guy hurt either. But I feel like what this showed for Mac Jones was like, if Cam does struggle, it's not like last year where we can't put a guy in. If you suck, we are going to put this guy in because we know he can play, because they didn't have that before with Jarrett Stidham or Brian Hoyer. So now if Cam does struggle, it will be Mac Jones, but it will be Cam's job, I believe, week 1 and until he does struggle.
So, Mitch, let me throw a little little magic, like, on this situation.
Right.
Right. You mentioned Cam's athleticism, and clearly Cam is one of the strongest people I've ever met. Right. Like, he's ridiculous. Right. Like, you could tell me he was a D lineman and I would believe you. You could tell me he was a tight end and I'd be like,
Yeah.
holy
Probably could
cow.
have played tight end, to be
He
honest.
probably could have, and maybe he could. Could you see? And I would take him as a tight end over Tim Tebow, hands
Oh, for
down,
sure.
all day long, no question. Like, full stop, no cap, like, done. Like, really? Is that even a comment? But could the offense get really tricky and have almost a Taysom Hill / Drew Brees multifaceted offense? You've got them both there. Neither one of them costs you a lot of money. There is no scenario where it's in your best interest to get rid of either one of them.
Right.
Could you use them both?
Yeah, like if you're taking egos out of this, because I don't know how Cam would handle it, but I assume thus far he's been fine with it. Like, he's been actually really positive about questions asked about Mac Jones. He's been like, we're in this together. He's actually been, praising him. So that's nice to see from Cam's perspective, even though he knows he's in a competition. But yeah, I would say, like, in an ideal world, right away, Mac Jones is just a baller. And then you have Cam Newton running, like, because he's a red zone weapon. He's a short yardage weapon no matter what. Like, even if he's not a good quarterback anymore, he's still Cam Newton running the ball. So yes, Jen, in an ideal world, that's what happens, I think. But, like, I don't know. In another ideal world, Cam Newton's just awesome. So
Right. And
I
he
don't know.
might be, but you
Yeah.
also might be able to make your playbook more multidimensional, which the Patriots do like no one else. There is no other team that does it the same way that I'm aware of. It used to be one of their only things, but like, that you're not adjusting your second half based on what happened in the first half, that you literally have two separate game plans for each
Mhm.
half, so that other teams that are making halftime adjustments based on what you did in the first half are always behind the eight ball. So picture a world where, you know, we muhaha the evil genius and we say, listen, guys, if we can maximize both of you as weapons to create a dominant offense that can keep defenses on their heels and use you both situationally. Yeah, maybe it's Cam's for most of it, but he could come in with a trick play, this, that, and the other. Um, you you could make a case that now all of a sudden it's like, is that your recipe to put the Patriots back on top? I think it would be fascinating.
It would be really interesting to watch. And it would even be, I think, like a game plan based thing. Because I feel like with New England, they're a game plan team, as you're suggesting. And I feel like there are teams where Mac Jones would be the better option. And then there would be teams where Cam Newton would be the better option based on how their defense is, or like how they play, for example. But the Taysom Hill idea is interesting because I don't think it would take too much difference in terms of the play calls themselves. It would just be like McDaniels with the same plays, but now you have a Cam section and you have a Mac section, and now you're just mixing them up based on what is the ideal play call on the down and distance, right?
Yeah. And especially when you put them both on the field, it makes defenses really nervous because now they have to respect all of the above, right? Like, and if you're finding that these two people become a dynamic duo, it will absolutely put defenses on the defense. And they will have to read and react what's going on, as opposed to which naturally slows down some of that aggression. So I I maybe it's a hot take saying that we could see a little multiple quarterback options in New England.
Yeah, we'll see.